Hello, everybody, and thank you so much for joining us over here on the Product Spotlight. I am one of your moderators today. My name is Neda Tallier. I'm going to go ahead and transition us over into the agenda. Just a quick look into what's coming. So for today, we're going to obviously do a huge welcome to everybody here, including our prospects and customers who are joining us live, and our internal team who's here to say hey in terms of our builders. The team behind the actual product, helping to shape the face of the product, getting user feedback. Your perspectives matter to us. We want to build something that's cool to use, but also practical in application, really democratizing the use of the data product builder throughout the organization. We will also cover a deep dive into our AI-powered data product builder, so you actually get a full demo into the product. Nick is actually going to do that. And then we'll give you a peek into what's coming. After that, we will wrap up with a Q&A. So please, reminder here is to use the question section of the GoToWebinar function. Drop questions in as we are talking. I will collect them, and at the end, we're actually going to pose them out to the team who's here with us today. At that, I will go ahead and actually invite our speakers on, our builders. So with me today, I have Maggie Solner, if you don't mind coming on camera, Klaus Zitzelberger, and Christina Dess from our product organization. And I actually would like to ask some questions just as I get to know. So Maggie, Klaus, Chrissy, welcome. Say hey to everybody here.
Hello, everybody. Maybe I can start. And yeah, my name is Magdalena Seltner, internally called Maggie. And as product manager, I'm responsible for the strategic alignment and feature prioritization in 3 of our software development teams. And the teams are working on the data landscape and ingestion, so how to make data visible in our map, the data product requesting, so when users need to request a new data product to be built, and data quality management. And as Neda said, we're always available for mutual exchange and sharing ideas. And we also like to join fairs, for example, to learn as much as possible about the challenges out there around data product building, and to really tailor our product more and more to the core value creating use cases. So yeah, don't hesitate to reach out to us, and I hope you're enjoying this very first One Data launch event.
Awesome, Maggie. Thank you so much. Klaus, we'll turn it over to you. Tell us a little bit about you and your.
Hi, Neda. Thanks for having me, and hello to everyone. Also from my end, I'm Klaus. I'm a product manager in 2 teams. And I would really like to use this chance to also say thanks to the 2 teams I belong to for the dedicated effort in the last months. So great job, folks. In one team, we are responsible for both data storage and authorization. So Neda, for example, if you want to access a specific data product in One Data, our system first checks if you are allowed to see it. So if you have the permissions, and then efficiently delivering the requested data to you. And with the other team, we developed a capability called Link AI. I think this is really a big game changer, but I don't want to spoil anything now because Nick will present it anyway in a minute. Regarding inputs for the roadmap, so I by myself worked as a data scientist, but also on the business side in the past, and accessibility of data, but also the availability of context information, metadata was always a big challenge. And this experience I gained there, but also when engaging with customers, give me a lot of input. And talking about customers, we always value customer feedback. So if you have any insights or suggestions for us, please don't hesitate. We are always eager to hear them. Thank you.
Thank you, Klaus. And Chrissy, I will hand it over to you next.
Thanks. So yeah, as said, my name is Chrissy or Christina, and I'm in charge with my 2 teams to develop and maintain the metadata extraction module, this module is crucial for extracting relevant information from various data sources and providing it also to other teams and services for further usage. One of those services is, for example, the data landscape visualization, using the data to cluster assets or to show connections between them, which is also one of my responsibilities. Furthermore, I'm also involved in the development of the quality module, which focus on implementing quality checks on the data and again, visually show them in the data landscape. And yeah, besides that, what Magdalena and Klaus already mentioned, how we conduct our roadmap, how we shape our product is besides user interviews and asking internal stakeholders and customers. Also something I personally really like, because I'm also a former data scientist, that we do internal hackathons to test and try out new ideas. And this is really cool as a company to be able to have all our colleagues that have so much ideas, test out things. And yeah, if we get even more feedback from customers, we are happy to try out new stuff and try to implement it.
Thank you. Maggie, Klaus, Christina, thank you so much for the efforts. And as you said, our first product launch here at One Data, you guys are definitely helping to shape our product, the face of it, not only the face of it, but the design. And as Chrissy said, our metadata integration. So this is one of the key differentiators for us, how we use metadata, how we're thinking about using metadata as we are today and as we move into the future to really power easier to use, easier to build, easier to manage data products. So thank you so much to this team, and thank you to the teams that work with you in partnership, our engineers and our entire product organization. So thank you so much. Okay, let's go ahead and welcome Nick back onto the stage, where he's actually going to take us into a deep dive into the product. So Nick, my sparring partner and thought partner, and also late night buddy, Dr. Nicholas Hegg-Dressick, Principal Solution Engineer at One Data. The stage is yours.
Data plays a pivotal role in modern business strategies, and even in our personal life, we're witnessing the integration of AI. And technological advancements in recent years have been truly remarkable. However, here's the staggering reality. Data scientists and data engineers are dedicating up to a whopping 90% of their time in data projects on non-value added tasks, such as data preparation or modeling. Yep, you heard that right, 90%. Now, in turn, that means that the value really lies within the 10% of time for actual data analysis. And it's truly astonishing to consider how far we have come while investing so much time in tasks we'd rather avoid. Now, imagine the possibilities if we could reclaim the time and where we could steer our efforts. And with this thought, I want to welcome you to the live presentation of our AI-powered One Data product builder. As Nida said, my name is Nick, and I will lead you through today's product spotlight session. And today, I'm really excited to introduce you to a game-changing approach to data management and how the One Data product builder is designed to empower data people like you to effortlessly build, manage, and share high-quality data products so that you can minimize the time spent on data preparation and instead concentrate on what truly drives your business success. So let's get started. To make things a little bit more tangible, let's consider a fictitious aerospace company called SpaceLink Dynamics. And SpaceLink Dynamics really embodies innovation and leadership within the global aerospace arena, boasting a storied history of groundbreaking achievements and an unwavering commitment to pushing the boundaries of what's achievable. And it's really this relentless pursuit of excellence that has solidified their status as a global leader in the field. However, like any other company on our planet and the planets out there, SpaceLink Dynamics grapples with a familiar set of data challenges. And we had the opportunity to engage in a conversation with George Lloyd, who is the Chief Data and Strategy Officer at SpaceLink Dynamics, where we delved into the 3 most critical challenges he deals with. And while all of these challenges initially appear as data related, each of them carries the potential to pose significant threats to the overall business success of SpaceLink Dynamics. George Lloyd told us that ultimately their product quality is at risk as siloed data from different subsidiaries are hampering a holistic decision making. And how is anyone at SpaceLink Dynamics really supposed to make the right decisions if they don't even know which data they have to base their decisions on? Secondly, the safety of in-flight operations is at risk because even if data is known, it's usually so complex to assess their quality that hardly anyone at SpaceLink Dynamics has full transparency. And lastly, the aerospace industry is a highly regulated sector. This means that there is a constant concern of violating regulations because of a delicate balancing act between data accessibility on the one hand and protecting data from unauthorized access on the other hand. If SpaceLink Dynamics really want to base their decisions on data, they must permit its usage. If, however, an attacker gets unauthorized access to sensitive data, the internal systems would at least need to be shut down for quite a while to contain the incidents, which would result in operational disruptions. And these data challenges are not easy to deal with, and overcoming them is crucial for the business success. At OneData, it is our mission to support both data experts and data business users in overcoming their data challenges by accelerating processes that help them reclaim their valuable time, and our data product builder is purposely built to do exactly this. At its core, the AI-powered OneData product builder supports your business with a very distinct set of capabilities. And in short, we help you to connect, discover, prepare, deploy, and share your data while making sure you stay updated on any data quality issues by leveraging your existing IT stack by seamless integration. And we were also convinced that the OneData product builder can support George in overcoming his data challenges. And I now want to show you how we enable data people to seamlessly build, manage, and share high-quality data products. We will explore how to leverage the robust visualization capabilities of the OneData product builder for comprehensive data asset exploration, how we do efficient data product requests, how we use powerful workflows to build the requested products, and how to facilitate collaboration through the provision of reusable and discoverable data products. So let's step into the shoes of Juan, who is a supply chain analyst at SpaceLink Dynamics. And Juan is very well versed in working with Excel sheets. He frequently relies on reports, and he is even able to do some simpler tasks in the company's BI tool himself. However, he doesn't really consider himself to be a data expert. Now we will transition into a live presentation of the OneData product builder, where I will assume the role of Juan. And I invite you to pay very close attention to how effortlessly we can navigate this tool to access data and extract valuable information, all without the need for extensive data expertise. So here we are on the homepage of the OneData product builder, and there is a lot of information, but I want to first draw your attention on the middle section, where we see a Kanban style sort of table where we can see which products are currently requested in development or even in review. And apparently our inventory stock levels data product is in review, and we really should come back later today and check whether the inventory stock levels data product is meeting our requirements. In the top, we can see that there are 19 recently updated products, and we can now look through this list because we were actually tasked with a very specific order from our boss, and basically we are supposed to find out which countries we have most business with. So we can now look through this list right here and see if anything of the most recently updated data products is in our interest. However, this doesn't really look like anything here is useful to us. So what we do is we swap to our data product marketplace. Like on a real marketplace, this is where consumers and producers meet. Like on a real marketplace, I can now just go around and see if anyone is offering what I'm looking for. What you see here is probably one of the most iconic features of the OneData product builder, and it's something that we are really proud of. And this is our data landscape. Each and every hexagon you see here is a small data product throughout our company. And you can currently see that they are clustered by their respective business domain. So you can see that, for example, there are products in business development, business analytics, and for example, in production. And I can now zoom in and see that within production, there are 2 data assets in products and 4 in materials. If I zoom in even further, I can see who owns these data assets. And of course, if I go down to the lowest level, I can see the data asset itself. So now I could look through all of these data assets manually and see if anything of this is of interest to me, but this would be very inefficient, so I'd rather exploit our AI-supported search capabilities. And I know that Patricia, my colleague, has worked on something very similar previously. So I can now simply go to the search function, type in her name, and let OneData do the searching. So OneData now looks through all the column names and all the table names, but also through all the metadata, and is able to find that Patricia worked on the historical client orders data product previously. This might be a good starting point, so we go ahead and inspect the data table. We can see that there is a client ID, a product ID, some order quantity, and a date, but unfortunately there is no information about the client's whereabouts. So this is not really useful to what we are looking for. So we could now go ahead and look through all of these data assets, but let's assume that we didn't find what we are looking for. So what we need to do next is we need to make a new request for a new data product, and this is exactly what we will do now. On this side, what we can do now is we can give all the information that a future product builder needs to handle my request. So first things first, we type in a name, we decide who is the product owner group, we enter a business domain our data product belongs to, and the entity, so basically what the table is about. We select a developer group and an update frequency, because after all, my boss wants to have it updated on a regular basis. So we enter a very short description and we're already done. This is the most basic information that any data product builder needs to have in order to handle my request, or even to know that there is a new one. If I'm a little bit more experienced, I can even say which columns I need in my data product. So for example, I might know that I need a client ID and I need the client's address, and those could be 2 columns that I need. But for now, let's simply assume that this is enough, and I simply hit send request and I navigate back to our homepage. So we have witnessed how Juan was able to simply explore all the data assets and effortlessly request a new data product because he didn't find what he was looking for. And the OneData product builder really serves as the key component that integrates all the company's data, dismantles the data silos, and simplifies the data discovery for the business user. Now, let's transition into the role of Louisa, who is a data engineer at SpaceLink Dynamics, and we will delve into how she utilizes the OneData robust workflows to produce the data product that Juan just requested. Keep an eye on how we can seamlessly perform these tasks within the platform without the need to navigate elsewhere, ensuring a frictionless workflow. So here we are back on our homepage, and as the stereotype is that data people like to work in dark mode, we simply switch to our dark theme to emphasize that we are now mimicking Louisa, the data engineer. And Louisa can instantly see that the client master table, in fact, is now in our requested pane of our Kanban board. She can go ahead and inspect the information that we just provided and understand what needs to be done. And assuming that she already understood what needs to be done, she then navigates to the raw data map. On the raw data map, we get a very familiar view to what we have just seen. Again, we have our data landscape, but while previously we were focusing on all the data products in our company, we are now really looking at all the data assets across our company. Currently, this is a very technical perspective. For example, we can see that there's some data coming from PostgreSQL, some from MSQL, and also some data from OneData. However, we are really more interested in a business hierarchy, so we change accordingly. Now we get the very same amount of data, the very same assets, but they are now clustered by the respective business domain. So we can see that there's data in business development and production and so on and so forth. We, of course, could now go ahead and look through all of these data assets manually, but again, this would be very inefficient, so we'd rather leverage the search capabilities again. This time, I want to find all the data that relates to client. Now, in our map, we get highlighted all the data sets with a connection to our client data, but there's also a list on the left side. So I'll just look through this list if anything of this catches my attention. And in fact, there's this one data product called client's address. So I click here and the map zooms in. This could be exactly what we're looking for, right? So let's inspect its metadata. Here, I find valuable information about when it was created, who created, where it is coming from. I could even change the metadata centrally right here and feed this back to other systems. But for now, I'm really interested in what's inside the table. So it looks like there's a client ID, the company, country, city, zip code, address. This is brilliant. This is absolutely what I need. So let's inspect this data set. As expected, there's a client ID, company, country, the city, but apparently, unfortunately, there are also a lot of blank cells and missing values. So how can I even be sure that the data I'm dealing with is of good quality or not? Well, to do this, we go all the way out of this. Let's zoom out a little bit so you can see this better. And we will leverage the quality layer within OneData. If I change to the quality layer, what you will see is a visual representation whether data assets were failing or succeeding in their respective data quality checks. Everything that turns out to be red is of poor data quality, while everything turning out to be blue is absolutely perfectly fine. So with a click here, we can see that fortunately, most of our data assets are perfectly fine, but unfortunately, the one data asset we are interested in over here turns out to be quite red. We could go even into the details and see the quality checks and see that from 9 overall quality checks, 4 are successful while 5 failed. We can now see what was tested exactly and even have some samples to see the data quality issues in detail. For now, this is not of our concern. We simply know that we cannot use this data set. So let's assume that we leveraged the search capabilities and made sure that the data we are looking for is of good quality. And let's further assume that a colleague of mine already started working on a data product that we are interested in. Because I now want to bring you really deep down to the developer perspective within the OneData product builder. And for this, I navigate back to our homepage, and we can in fact see that the client master table is now in the development pane of our Kanban board. I will now bring you to our OneData project space. A OneData project really is a dedicated space for a new data product. And eventually, this is what makes a data product, because this is the dedicated space where we store all the credentials, the connections, and how to manipulate the data in the workflows. Here, we can see that one of my colleagues apparently already created some very sophisticated workflow. Currently, OneData features about 150 processes, which allow you to do some very simple data loading and data manipulation stuff, but all the way up to very sophisticated machine learning models. We can see here that we are currently loading data from 5 different tables displayed in orange. We can see that we do some very simple multiple column renaming in an Excel-like experience, but we can also see that we do, for example, a left join in SQL next to some Python pre-processing in the very same data pre-processing steps. We could now go into the depth and breadth of all the processors, but for now, let's simply assume that this is exactly what we need. We simply hit save and run and return back to our homepage. So we have observed how Luisa was able to handle Juan's request, and she was able to look for the necessary data, assess the data quality, and even eventually harness the potent workflows within OneData to construct the requested product. And by maintaining the operations within the platform, we can significantly expedite the end-to-end data product building process and contribute to a better decision-making by constantly checking the data quality. So we've made some significant progress already. Now that Luisa has successfully built the data product, let's return to Juan and let's assume that he already reviewed the data product and now wants to assess and work with it in his preferred tool. In this segment, I'd like to highlight how we can promote collaboration and cultivate a data-centric culture by offering reusable and easily discoverable data products. So back on the home screen, we of course switch back to our light theme as we are now Juan again. And as we did previously, we navigate to our data product marketplace. As we did previously, we leverage the search capabilities, and this time we look for the client master table that we just created while we were Luisa, and it should show up over here. There we go. This is exactly the data table that we just created. So let's inspect what we have. Well, in fact, we have a client ID, we have a company name, and we have the company country where it's located alongside more information on longitude, latitude. So this is exactly what we need. So next, what we need to do is we need to bring it into our favorite BI tool. So for example, we could output this to Tableau. We simply hit share, click connection, and from Tableau, we can now establish a direct SQL access to really make use of the client master table within our BI tool. And if we did that, we would find out that we actually have most business with Germany and the Netherlands. But for now, I want to draw your attention to something slightly different. Because in the beginning, I mentioned that we are wasting 90% of our time in data analytics projects on non-value added tasks like data preparation. And the promise of data products really is that we can expedite the time to implement new data use cases. And this is exactly what we did here. Because what you see next to our client master table is that there's actually a forecast of client orders. And this forecast of client orders actually builds upon the client master table and many other data products. It's a very sophisticated data product that makes use of the data that has already been created. And this is possible because the client master table alongside all the other data products are a valuable data asset itself. Now, imagine that our forecast of client orders was terribly off today. Basically, we're completely out of stock. And imagine now, how would you handle such a situation in your business? How would you be able today to track down where your forecast failed? Well, this is a very, very severe problem for most businesses. What we can do is we can build a map specifically designed for the forecast of client orders, for example, and track the full lineage of this data product. Here we see all the connections from our input data all the way to our finished data product. And if I zoom in here, you see all the way at the end, this is the forecast of client orders. And as I promised in the beginning, one of the input data sets is in fact the client master table. So now, how do we know where things went wrong? Well, like we did previously, we can simply go to our quality metric layer and we can see that there's one particular data asset which looks off for today. And in fact, the train model support vector machine data product looks to be, well, let's say shady. We zoom out again a little bit and figure out who's the owner of this data asset. And now I can contact my colleague Michele and ask him to please fix the data product so our overall forecast gets corrected. I hope you agree that it was really straightforward for Juan to work with the product from within the product marketplace and how providing reusable and discoverable data products on the centralized marketplace really serves as the launching pad to integrate data as a pivotal component of your organization. With the One Data product builder, SpaceLink Dynamics achieved seamless integration of all their systems. They visualized their data discovery and they significantly reduced their time to build the required products. Eventually, they were able to seamlessly and effortlessly share them in their preferred BI tools. And this transformation is all underpinned by robust AI support and is centered around enhancing the data consumer's experience. Now, let's circle all the way back to George, the Chief Data and Strategy Officer at SpaceLink. and find out how the One Data product builder helped them to address his data challenges. With the help of the One Data product builder, SpaceLink Dynamics product quality is no longer at risk, because now all data teams and all business users now enjoy a comprehensive view on SpaceLink Dynamics' entire data landscape. Data quality issues do no longer threaten airline or passenger safety, as all data is now being monitored within One Data. Advanced AI-driven data quality checks operate around the clock, automatically scanning all data assets for potential errors. And if any errors are detected, automatic alerts are triggered, promptly notifying the owners to take care of them immediately. And for its compliance and data security challenges, well, One Data's advanced access control mechanisms significantly reduce the risk of unauthorized access and thereby minimizing the risk of non-compliance. I truly hope that this journey resonated with you. We as One Data draw from our 1 decade experience in the data science market, and we recognize that these challenges are common drivers for companies across various industries, and we are here to help you. And indeed, there are businesses that stand at the forefront of modern data management approaches. So for example, consider ThyssenKrupp, which faced the challenge of tracking an extensive data landscape, locating and managing vast amount of data while ensuring the data quality. And with the assistance of One Data, ThyssenKrupp successfully developed something they call a smart holistic twin, which seamlessly enabled them to work with heterogeneous data collected from 35 different ERP systems as if they originated from one unified and interconnected system. Or let's take Schott as an example, who are in the other breakout room currently. Schott is embracing the concept of data products, which is integral to the overarching strategy of implementing a data mesh architecture. And this strategic move is aimed at accelerating their time to insight. Notably, they achieved success by training a data product to derive optimized settings for the glass rolling machines, drawing from historical data to drive efficiency and innovation. I hope you enjoyed joining me on this trip to space. And with that, I hand it back to you, Nida.
Thank you so much, Nick, for taking the time to walk us through the product demo. If there are any questions, you are welcome to submit them through the question section of the GoToWebinar panel. And up next, we actually are going to dive into some of our upcoming features and capabilities focused on generative AI. So we've got a couple previews and an alpha to show you next. Nick, if you wouldn't mind, I will go ahead and just do a quick disclaimer. As a reminder to everybody, right? This is confidential information. However, what we show today may not be the exact same thing that you see in the product in the coming weeks, months, years, and so this is not binding. And Nick, from here, I will turn it back over to you to actually show the product.
Brilliant. Thank you very much, Nida. So the recent developments in the field of artificial intelligence have incomparably disrupted the way we work. Ever stronger models for generative AI opens doors that we previously thought were closed for at least the next decades. And today, I really want to show you a set of features that our experienced data scientists and our incredible developers are currently working on that will bring even more AI power natively to the One Data product builder. So let's cycle back to Juan, the supply chain analyst at SpaceLink Dynamics. Remember how he requested a data product? What if Juan was actually getting AI support to kickstart his data product request? This is exactly what the AI-powered data product request form is about. So let's check this out. Here, we are back in what you've previously seen in the request pane. This might look slightly different because there were some UX improvements. Of course, we're constantly working on making sure that the product is as user-friendly as possible. Now, let's imagine that Juan this time is looking for a data product on turbine control. Well, what he could do is he could enter all of these cells manually, but instead, he really wants to use our AI support for this. So we simply hit override with AI. And what happens in the back end now is that One Data takes in the input that we just gave it and manages all the prompt engineering in the backend. Next, it will tune the LLM to find out what needs to be where, and eventually we will end up with all the information pre-filled in our request form. There we go. So now what we need to do is we need to simply add some more information, like the owner group, maybe the developer group. We can read through the description and the requirements, but most importantly, what we are interested in are the columns that were chosen. Well, of course, we need a turbine ID because we need to know which turbine we're talking about. Maybe it has a specific name. We can now check the temperature or the wind speed or all of these things. But of course, we can also do some changes. For example, I'm really not happy that the turbine ID is a string, so I'd rather change this to be an integer. We could now delete some of these suggestions. We can add some more columns, but for now, this is totally fine, so we can just leave it as it is. The AI-assisted data product request currently in preview has the potential to not only significantly expedite the data product request, but is centered around empowering the data business user to make even more meaningful impact. Now that we simplified the means of requesting data products, what would be the next logical step? Well, simplifying the product building, of course. In fact, our goal is to develop a business-friendly and usable tool to join data, and we are taking steps to bring AI into every step of this journey. And with the AI-assisted query generation, we're taking steps to help business users begin to build their own data products. So now let's go back to Louisa, our data engineer at SpaceLink Dynamics. Do you remember how she was able to utilize the workflows within One Data? There is no doubt that Louisa is a very capable data engineer, but it's exactly this reason that it would be very great if we can help her taking care of some of the more trivial tasks so she can really focus on the things that need her attention. And this is exactly what our AI quick actions are for and where the AI-assisted query generator can help. So let me show you how Louisa picks up our new request for the turbine control data product and uses our AI quick action to expedite her data product building. So we are back in the workflow. Again, you see some slight user experience changes, but you also see that we already loaded turbine engine data and turbine installation info. And we want to output the two data sets into one data product called turbine control, right? So what we need to do, we need to find a way to join these two data sets. So I simply add a so-called double input query processor. I connect my two data sets to it. I connect the join table to my output. And when I go inside, I can simply hit join input tables. And One Data now behind the curtain simply runs the join, and I get the joined information displayed right here. So I hit apply our changes. I can hit save and run, and everything is being taken care of. Brilliant. Well, the AI-assisted query generator, which is also currently in preview, liberates data experts from trivial tasks in order to free their time and really focus on more valuable activities. It serves as the entry point for data business users to be able to conduct simpler data product building processes on their own. And this way, the AI-assisted query generator not only saves valuable time, but is fighting at the forefront of data democratization. All right, I really hope that you agree that these two features are already very promising and that you are as excited as I am to see how they find their way into the product. But believe it or not, there is even more. And I'm really happy that today I can finally unveil for you our latest feature set powering One Data's ability to help democratize data product building across the business, called Link AI, which is currently in alpha. We hear you, fellow Excel lovers and Excel tamers. Link AI makes it easier for all of you who struggle to connect disconnected data sets each and every single day. With the help of Link AI, you can effortlessly connect data assets leveraging a powerful transformer algorithm behind the curtains to start analyzing data faster than ever before. So let's imagine that this time we are a financial analyst at Spacelink Dynamics. And if you ever worked in this area, you probably agree that you live and breathe Excel in these domains. This is true for also true for our financial analyst who is tasked to combine two data Excel tables on received payments with a table that he considers to be outstanding invoices. However, the second Excel file's column names are so cryptical that he hardly understands what's inside. So let me show you how fast we combine two Excel sheets and make it available for analysis. What you see here is the interface of Link AI, and you will notice that this looks different than the One Data Product Builder. And in fact, this is a complete standalone tool currently. So what we can do here is first, we need to bring in our data. And as you can see, it has a very clear name. So it's our payments.xlsx. And you can also see from the column names that it's very human friendly and human readable. So we have data on a transfer ID, total amount, transfer date, some sender name, so on and so forth. But there is our second file, which already from the file name, you can tell that it might be quite cryptical. And in fact, if you look at these column names, well, you have no idea whether this right here is your transfer ID or is it really the reference maybe. So joining these two tables by hand manually would probably take forever. What we can do instead, we simply hit the start button over here, and Link AI now looks through all the data columns and makes sure that we can manage to merge these files. So what we see here is that Link AI is able to find 96% of direct matches by joining the sender name and this weird column. But why would we go with 96% if we can have 99%, of course? So let's look at the column content. Well, actually what we're joining currently on would be the total amount and something that looks like a total amount on the other side also. And this doesn't make a lot of sense. Two people who just happen to have the same amount of payment are not necessarily the same person. So we rather leave this out. So we could go through this list and decide on which single column we want to join. But what is more powerful than joining on one single column? Well, of course, joining on multiple columns. So what we can do is we can simply go ahead and choose, for example, our total amount, the sender name, and the reference on the one hand side, and the corresponding columns on the other side as suggested by the system. And we find out that we have 92% of direct matches across 120 distinct values. This sounds very promising, so we go ahead and select these columns, and we end up with a so-called link table. And in this link table, what you see now are the rows being matched one to another. And there are very easy cases, for example, like this one. So Jackson Jones and Jackson Jones in both tables, the reference is perfectly aligned. So this would have been something that I would be able to spot very easily. So let's hide all the absolute matches and focus really on what might be a little bit trickier. And let's start with the very first example right here. So what about Emily Adams here? We find Emily Adams in both data assets. We have the same amount right here, but there is a difference in reference number, which turns out that we only have a confidence of a match of 97%. Well, for me, to be honest, I think this is perfectly fine, so I simply approve it. This way, I can now look through everything we see here and either decide whether this is a match, or sometimes there are cases where the suggested match is absolutely false, so we can decide that some of these things have no partner. One thing that is of particular importance is that the very sophisticated large language model in the backend is able to spot differences in language. So for example, look at this. In this row, we see that in the one table, I can read that it says Donnie Yen. However, in our payments table, there's Chinese signs. You can try it out for yourself. If you copy this and translate it, this will translate to Don Yen. So our LLM in the background is multilingual has multi-language capabilities. So it is able to detect whether there are any differences and depict and pick up on these to match your data. So let's approve all these suggestions now. I run the table merge, and the link table now gets saved as well, because such a link table can be a very valuable data asset in itself. Next up, what we can see is the joined data table already, and I simply need to click all those columns that I need and output them as a merged data table. So just in case you're wondering, while we're leveraging this, we are leveraging our own large language model in the backend. So none of the data you see here is sent somewhere to some obscure server somewhere, and you don't know where it lands, but you can really trust that all your data that you upload and join right here is safe and ready for you to use in your newly joined Excel table. So I hope you've seen how incredibly easy it is, once you're logged in, to simply upload 2 existing Excel files and merge them in a matter of minutes. And this process would have taken you hours, if not days, in the days previous to prior to Link AI. But you know what? Here comes the best part. The Link AI beta will be available for free to everyone starting November 1st. So don't miss the opportunity and join the beta waitlist right now. I'm sure you are as thrilled as we about everything until here and about everything that is yet to come. Thank you for joining me today in this product spotlight session. We really appreciate your feedback. We are looking forward to fruitful discussions and accompanying you on your data product journey. Back to you, Nida.
Thank you so much, Nick, for giving us a deep dive into the product and for showing us what's coming in the future months. For those of you who are interested, obviously we are super excited to launch this beta program. We would love for you to get on the wait list. So as a reminder, we'll be sending those communications out in our follow-up. So please join us in helping to shape the future of the product. Last but not least, we will dive into Q&A. So I will invite Nick back on, Ludwig and Flagga, if you're here with us today, to join me for a quick round of Q&A. We don't have so many questions, but just a few. So I will just wait a quick moment while everyone joins me, and then we will answer some of these questions. Great. So the first question actually is around metadata, and I'm going to throw this one over to Flagga, Florian, Kaspar, thank you so much and welcome. And Ludwig Edelhardt, welcome joining, and thank you for joining us. The first question here is actually around the practical use of metadata. How does it actually work within the product? What is it actually doing, and how does it support linking data products?
So what Nick showed via the data landscape visualization, for example, the whole clusters in there, they are generated from metadata. So no one arranged all the assets themselves, but rather they were arranged for the users according to metadata. That's one aspect. We can use all the information we either gather from the source systems or we augment on our own by either leveraging AI algorithms or doing statistical analysis of the source data in order to cluster and visualize the data. The next part is, for example, things like linking two assets is based on metadata. This can happen based on content, as Nick showed with Link AI, for example, but it can also already be done via metadata. In a lot of cases, you have similar naming, similar patterns, similar other attributes of data that can help in order to already pre-filter everything that you want to connect to your data asset that you have in front of you.
Thank you. Anything else, Ludwig, that you want to layer into that?
Yeah, sure. So ultimately, we also make these metadata searchable. So if you're looking for a specific asset and not just trying to be guided by the pure name of your table, we enable you to search across your entire landscape based on all the metadata you feed in.
Excellent. So the empowerment of metadata is something that obviously is going to continue to be built and delivered within our product. We will see new use cases. We will see new features and capabilities coming in the following months and years. It's very exciting. One question around the topic of AI, Nick, I'll throw this one to you, and then Flagga and Ludwig, you can follow on. But how easy is it for a business user to actually start using the product with some of these new capabilities that are coming?
I think this really opens up new worlds for some of the business users. For example, the SQL, AI SQL support generator is really only the first step, right? So you saw that it says AI quick actions. So we can probably expect that there are more of these quick actions coming in the future. And I think this really enables data business users to produce their own data products. And then, as I said, on the other hand, it really takes away some of the pressure from data engineers who really don't need to do all the nitty-gritty tasks that are really time-consuming but don't really create much value, because all of the data engineers out there, they know how to perform joins. They do it left and right, literally. And they can now simplify this process by simply click with a simple click on one button. So I think this will be great improvements, and I'm really happy to see if and when we can finally see this in the product.
Flagga, Ludwig, anything from you to add there? No. All right. Next question is actually about another data question on input. So where is the rare input data stored? In my business systems, or have I uploaded it onto your platform? And Ludwig, Flagga, I'll throw this one to you.
Yeah, let me take this one. So fundamentally, we are working on metadata. So we are trying to map out your data landscape purely on extracting metadata, and we are not requiring you to necessarily export and store your data in our system for the purpose of visualizing your data landscape. At the time when you want to execute data quality checks, or you want to have a look on a data sample, or potentially move into building and delivering data products within our scope, then of course we are required to extract and use that data for that specific purpose. But even then, you still have the control, for example, with data quality checks, to just grab a sample and discard of the sample afterwards, so that you're in control the entire time where your data lives at the moment.
Couldn't have said it better. So that's exactly what we're doing, giving the freedom where to store it. You get some benefits if things live with us, but there is no requirement to duplicate your data into our systems just for the sake of having it there.
Thank you. One thing that you surfaced that also has come up is, can you, Flagga, actually speak to access management and how that works around the permissioning of data products?
So first rule of engagement, the owner of the data product is in charge. That owner can be an individual person. Most oftenly, it's a group of people. We have a group mechanism that can be attached to various identity providers in order to retrieve group affiliation from. And these can again then be mapped into ownership groups, for example. And the same mechanism can be used in order to give certain people or groups access to data. So in the end, every time someone requests access to a data product, which they don't have yet access to, the owner will be informed via our notification system and can then grant access to the particular data product requested, or can also deny it, everything with some communication between both parties in order to clarify if there are any questions around the whole topic.
Excellent, thank you. And last but not least question, I will answer this one because I posed it over to our product team. There's a question that is actually talking more about the SQL AI assisted generator. And the question was, if this is AI based, can we not have a text box that can generate a query based on prompt? The short answer is We are obviously working to continue to develop this feature and product. It's definitely something that the team is considering now. It's definitely a possible future next step, but lots of potential for this particular feature and capability. I, again, would encourage anyone who's interested to sign up for the beta that we have coming now. We will have more betas coming in the future to get actually more people involved in feedback and using and development. So that's my response there. That actually wraps us up for the day. So Ludwig, Flagga, Nick, thank you so much for joining for a brief Q&A panel for the product. And I'm going to go ahead and wrap us up for the day. I hope everybody had a few learnings, a few takeaways, and at very least learned a little bit more about what's possible with the AI-powered data product builder. We hope that you're excited about what's coming. Obviously we are, but we're very interested in hearing feedback. We're interested in hearing thoughts. And if you're interested in taking this conversation a step further, please join us or send us a note at contact@onedata.com. Just let us know you're interested in a chat and our team will follow up with you. You're also welcome to take a quick QR scan if that fits you best. Outside of that, thank you so much, and that's a wrap.